Hello, everyone. I'm ZHAO Chuang. Today, let's draw the forelimbs of Deinocheirus. The forelimbs of Deinocheirus were likely to be a pair of large wings as shown in this model. Bone fossils of an ornithomimus found in Canada indicate its body was largely covered in feathers. After analysis of the bone structures, we speculate that its forelimbs might be a large pair of wings covered with contour feathers. The so-called contour feathers are the vane-like feathers that constitute the wings of modern birds. Deinocheirus probably also had such feathers. Before drawing this animal, we have to talk about its skeleton. Deinocheirus is a genus of ornithomimosaur. This group of dinosaurs, like most carnivorous dinosaurs, had 3 fingers, but they were distinctive because their 3 fingers were almost of equal length. This was different from other dinosaurs. Many carnivorous dinosaurs had the fingers on both sides shorter, especially the thumb being shortest, the index finger long, and the middle finger slightly shorter. Deinocheirus was not the same, whose 3 fingers nearly had the same length. Its claws were relatively straight. If its body was indeed covered with contour feathers, the feathers should have covered its second finger, extending up to here, starting from the second finger, and growing into a fan shape. Deinocheirus was flightless. We know that in flying birds, the feathers near the tip of the wings are longer, shaping the wings like a triangle. But for flightless animals such as ostriches or the prehistoric Caudipteryx, their feathers tend to be short near the fingers, and then gradually become longer. The hand of Deinocheirus might also be like this, with feathers at the far end, that is, feathers near the fingers being short, and then gradually becoming longer, as this model shows. Since Deinocheirus couldn't fly, its feathers might be loose like the ostriches. I don't think it had firm feathers like those of eagles. Its feathers might be as soft as those of ostriches, which might be a better match for an animal of almost 12 meters in length. Of course, these only serve as a reference, as they're only bone fossils currently. If one day, we find its fossilized feather prints, we may know what it truly looked like. Now, let's start to draw one forelimb of Deinocheirus. First, we outline the front of this forelimb. Starting from the shoulder, we outline the coracoid in front of the scapula like this. The neck would start from here, which can be drawn briefly. The forelimb extends to this area, and we draw some folds here. We can imagine that the coracoid was shaped like a circle, and the forelimbs were connected to the rear. This is its upper arm. Since its forelimbs were entirely covered with feathers, this line doesn't have to be so solid. The upper arm was very short, probably only reached here. Then let's move on to its forearm, followed by the hand. Its hand had 3 fingers. As an ornithomimosaur, Deinocheirus also had the prominent typical feature of this group, that is, its 3 fingers were almost the same length, with the thumb, index finger, and middle finger of equal length. Next, let's draw its feathers. We can simply outline the shape first without too many details. Since no feather fossils of Deinocheirus have been found, we can only speculate what they might have looked like. Deinocheirus belonged to Ornithomimosauria genetically, and we know that ornithomimosaurs had contour feathers. Contour feathers are the veins on the wings of birds. This type of feather normally grows from the second finger, which starts here. As a flightless dinosaur, Deinocheirus didn't have the same wing structures as modern birds. The outermost flight feather, or the feather close to the finger of many extant birds, is very long. Deinocheirus was good at running, so its feathers didn't need to comply with the aerodynamics, therefore its first feather was short. We simply draw the outline. When alive, the feathers might be longer, but we'll only outline the distribution of its feathers, which would probably extend here. The feathers were distributed from its second finger all the way to its elbow, which was commonly seen in feathered dinosaurs. Now let's draw its 3 fingers. Now, we can add some details. On the back of the fingers, we can draw some large scales. On the side of the fingers, draw the blood grooves that accommodated the blood vessels. And draw some scratches on the nails. Next, let's add some details to the feathers. We can reconstruct the complete feathers along its edge. Generally speaking, birds or feathered dinosaurs have the feathers near the elbow, which we usually call it the near end, meaning closer to the body, overlap on the feathers on the far end, one over another. So when drawing the feathers, we can draw from back to front like this. Then, we can draw some slits between feathers. But don't draw too many, just draw enough to show the growth direction. Note that when drawing these feathers, we must draw along the edge, because there were several layers of contour feathers like this covered on top. This type of feather is generally called covert feathers. So when drawing the first layer, try to draw along the edge, and then start to draw the coverts. The second layer is the same. You can use my way to draw an arc like this, and overlap one on another from the back to the front. And the middle part of the arc should always point forward. Then move on to the third layer. Primitive species like feathered dinosaurs such as Confuciusornis would have more layers of covered feathers. Such animals generally had 5 layers, but Deinocheirus might have more. Going upwards, the feathers would gradually become down feathers, resembling those of many birds today. When they became down feathers, we do not need to draw specific details. Just show them in this direction to make it more layered. As for the slight overlapping, it doesn't matter, as long as the texture is shown. Then draw feather-like shapes on some of them. Although the upper arm wasn't covered with contour feathers, it had elongated feathers, which got shorter and shorter towards the armpit. Its entire arm looked fluffy, so we can make the remaining parts look fluffy. Finally, let's refine some details, such as the feathers around the armpit. Then outline the belly, so that we know where its arms were located. Good, like this, we've finished drawing this forelimb of Deinocheirus.